Hello everybody, it's Tiziano from OpenDot Lab. This is the third tutorial I'm doing for Distributed Design Summer School. We have already seen how to make photogrammetry from photos in order to make orthotics for wrist and for my face in this case. And we have already used Visual SFM and Zephyr 3D, which is just for Windows. And now we are importing those files into Meshmixer. So right now what we're gonna do, open Meshmixer. In the first screen you can see you can import a new file, import a bunny, which is a nice one, import a sphere, a plane, or show the keyboard tips. So that's very useful when you want to speed up your process. As you will see, working in Meshmixer can be a lot time consuming, so speeding up your workflow will be really useful. So we had 3 files from the previous scan. So an OBJ file, MTL, which is material, and it's a file that needs to go together with our OBJ, and a texture, which is a really strange picture. Let me show you if I manage. Here it is. This is the picture we have extracted from our 3D model. So right now what we're gonna do is importing our OBJ directly into Meshmixer. Be careful because working with Meshmixer, which is not so stable program, will mean a lot of crashes. And so the first thing we're gonna do is reduce our model. How we do that? We just hit select here, then Command A or Control A for Windows user, and all our model will be selected. We cannot see anything right now, but we can hit W or show wireframe on view menu, and we will probably see a bit better the number of polygon in our model. Okay, so we want at least 1/3 less for this model. So I still want some resolution, but I want to lower the file a little bit, so it's easier to work better. So we can hit reduce, and if you don't see anything like me, you just need to move a little with the middle mouse button the view. This is another bug of Meshmixer, and if you just turn for a moment, your model will be easier to see. And in order to move your model, you just press the middle mouse button and you drag around. So it's not, if you have the mouse wheel, it's actually pressing the wheel down and then dragging. And if you hit shift in the same time, you will turn your model around. If you don't have a mouse, which is something I absolutely recommend, you can still use this cube on top, and use it also for putting front view, left view, and so on. Okay, so we are in the reduce menu. If you didn't see well, we have select everything with Command A, then edit, reduce. And here we are right now reducing with this percentage algorithm of 50% our mesh, so means 50% less. So if I want to reduce it a little more, like 80% less, I can write here. It's better than use the slider and see what happens. This is a really low resolution me, and we can do less than this just to see what happens. And this is much lower resolution, kind of artistic, but not useful for our purpose. I think 40% will be fine, and that's it. We are pretty done. And okay, and we are done with this. Now we can clear the selection and back again to our texture. If you want to see and hide the mesh, you can just hit W to show and hide the mesh. I prefer to see that because it's more clear what we are doing. And now, first thing, but you will have to do this anytime. We need to save our file. Okay, because we don't know whenever Meshmixer gonna crash down. So right now we have our model. We need to check the scale of it. One way is to measure it using edit transform. We see that it's 22 millimeters. So that's why in the previous step in Zephyr, we decided to scale just by 10 times less than the actual dimensions. So we worked in centimeters like. There was no units, so it was fine for Zephyr. But right now here in Meshmixer we have millimeter has units because it's a software down for 3D printing. So we need to scale it up of 10 times. We can also see this visualizing the printer bed, which is a printer bed of a MakerBot Replicator 2, and it's 20 centimeter in height, so we can see that my head is just small like this. And now I switch off the printer bed, go back to my model, go to edit, transform, and I need to delete bottom part and say 224.42. So this way should be 10 times more. Remember to hit uniform scaling bit code before changing anything. Accept. If you have done a more radical scale, it's probably that the zoom in function and zoom out function will be a bit compromised. In this case, we can export our file and say Tiziano scaled in OBJ format, save, then we just close, save and close this Meshmixer file, and then we can import back in our software. That's another kind of Tiziano scaled right now. Okay, this is not needed actually if you don't have any scaling problem, but if you see that you cannot turn around the model, can view or whatever, sometimes all the interface of Meshmixer scaled upon your model that you import the first time, so you need to do this. If you have some problem with also with sculpt tools, the size of the sculpting tool can change depending on the first import of the file. Okay, so right now what I want to do is to position this really well with the coordinate system. I can do that showing the grid, which show me the grid of my file. The origin is approximately in the center, but I want to make a fine-tuning of this. How I do that? It's because I can't visualize the other axis, I just place 3 planes in order to see where is the origin. So I need to move this to 0, enter, and I want to also, sorry, this was the size. Here it's the scale. I want to put in a wireframe, so I should see the position here. Not happening, so I can delete this. When you have more than one part in your file, you can view the object browser. It's here, and then you can delete, duplicate the file, and so on. So we save the file, and this is Tiziano Berti. Okay. Yes, and we need to position the file a bit better. Okay, so we can go to Meshmix, put the plane inside. And with the enable snipping, I don't know why, we put out also coordinate system, which was what I was looking for actually. Okay, now this plane it's on the 0. I can leave it like this, then I can copy this mesh 2 times, 2 click here, and select this, transform, and rotate around the x-axis, so it's 90 degrees here. Sorry, it was probably not the y-axis, but the x-axis. Okay, so now you have a perpendicular plane here. I select also the other one, and edit, transform, and again rotate around, this time around the z-axis. Okay, so I have my 3 coordinate plane, accept, and now I can move my head to get it perfectly aligned with the coordinate system. So I'm gonna do that selecting the mesh on the object browser, then edit, transform. I will move this down a bit to have it exactly on the my eyes on the midplane. That's why, because it's easier to see on the eyes if the head is tilted correctly. To do this better, I prefer to activate orthographic view. So this is perspective, but I'm not able to see very well the alignment with the plane. So with orthographic view, the head is less nice, but it's easier to see the alignment. So I click on front view to see better for perfectly aligned planes. And then I can use this tool here to, now I disable snapping, and I go a bit higher, and I can see that one of my pupils are down the plane and this is upper the plane. So I can just turn a little to see, to have them perfectly on the center. As you can see from this perspective, my nose is not straight. That's why I'm designing something exactly on my nose. So also my mask can be not straight as my nose. Okay. And so I put this on the center. I'm looking right now on the distance between the eyes to get the center right, because the nose it's not helping. Also my mouth, not so much. But this should be fine. Accept. And right now what I'm gonna do is exporting a file. We can delete the plane, we don't need that anymore. We can save this file again and export this mesh which is selected to use that on Fusion. Still OBJ format, the first one, or we can try also the per vertex color, which is a different way, to see if we can still see the colors on Fusion. Okay, why I'm importing on Fusion? Because here I can design more parametric parts. So I'm looking Tiziano for Fusion here. Okay, I don't know if I can drag here, maybe not. So I just go to insert mesh, and click on the right file, open, and here there is my head. Don't move using this because I want to preserve the alignment between the two files. And if I want to change where is the shadow, I just need to click on top here and say set current view as top or front, depending if you're looking me this direction or the other. And so right now on this model I've already designed the part I want to put on my face, which is actually I want to design something similar to this. So this is a way to put a scarf over your face and be able to breathe a bit more. I just seen this today on Design Boom. And I've already designed a very rough shape for this. We will design that better in Meshmixer later to make it a bit more round. And so I can just export this part as STL with a good beginning resolution. Okay, save it here, yes. And I can close my Fusion file and save it. Okay, Fusion will quit when it's done. Okay, we switch back to Meshmixer, and now we can import back our body. We append to this file because we don't want to delete the face. Okay, here is our part, and then I can work this piece in a lot of different ways. I need to select the part. I can hide the other pieces. Again, view, show wireframe if I want to see a little better what's happening. I can, for example, select, make a first smoothing or remeshing of this file, but maybe before we just change the shape a little bit. So we can select here with the brush tool. As you can see, I didn't make a very good selection, but we can modify the selection, increasing, expanding to get it a bit better. So this way expanding and this way contracting. So I want something like this for the moment. I show back the face and I want this to go a little inside my face. I can use, for example, edit, select again, or Ctrl Z to recover the previous selection. The form, soft transform, and we can this way move this a little bit inside of my face with a smooth transition between the two parts. Okay, so I can correct this to be a bit more ergonomically correct. And as you can see, it's easy to start deforming a little the part, but we don't care too much because we're gonna do a kind of really organic design. This is not so good, but we can start this way. I want just to catch the middle of my nose and go a little inside the nose for the moment. We can also scale it up a little bit. Okay, and down a little. Okay, accept. Then for this part we are pretty done for the moment. We can hide this part. As you can see, I'm still seeing this because it's selected. If I switch back to this other piece, I won't see that anymore. Right now I'm duplicating my face because I need to grab something from this geometry, but I don't want to change the space. Again, file, save, do that every time because the program can crash pretty fast. Okay, so I just hide away the first mesh. I still see this, so it's fine. Select, and now I'm doing a selection here around this line, which is the shape I want to obtain, but I'm doing that a bit larger because I just want to take a bigger piece to work with more easily. So I just take all the nose with the selection tool. And on the other side too. So I just go pretty near the eye and just over the nose. Okay, like this is fine. Okay, once we're done selecting, there is a tool inside Modify, which is invert connected. We'll select all the other parts connected to this piece. And we can just hit delete on our keyboard. And right now we just have the nose. We didn't lose the other part because it's still here hidden, but we have something easier to work with. So what I'm doing now is selecting the part that I'm interested in. So it's more close to this line. I just want to select down this line. I've drawn this line on my face because I want to avoid the piece where my glasses connect to my nose, because I want to try if it's more more good to use the mask with the glasses and to be more comfortable. So I want to select something like this, and then we go to Modify, Smooth Boundary. Smooth Boundary basically increases the selection around the edge and try to smooth the polygon to get a nicer curve. So this is nicer. I can modify that, change the smoothness. So as you can see, from 0 to smoother. Okay, it's fine, accept. And now I still have selected this. So again, modify, invert connected, and delete. So right now I have a nice piece to work with, and we can select all, modify, edit, offset, and then again turning, we can see a bit better what's happening. So I want to make a thickness that I can print, so like 2.5 mm should be fine. Let's see how it is. If we didn't reduce the resolution of the mesh, probably this operation will take much longer to do. So maybe we can do a bit more reduction on some part if we see that it's taking too much time to solve everything. So switch back to what I was doing, this piece. I'm gonna do just one thing to check. Modify, expand connected, modify, invert selection, and delete. Okay, clear selection. Okay, I was probably having some hidden triangles somewhere. Right now, we select again everything, so Command A, and edit, offset, and now it's working much better. 2.5 mm. For the moment I don't care about this, but we can make a soft transition of 0.5 and see if it gets a bit better, maybe. And it's connected, and accept, and clear selection. I've lost something in the process, so we can try again. Starting from this, and select all, so I select everything on this part, or Command A, edit, offset, I don't care for the moment about these points. 2.5 millimeter towards the outside part, so I don't want to go inside because this is my nose space, so I want to go outside. 2.5, 2.7 should be fine. Accept. And now we can select again everything, edit, deform, smooth. So I got rid about these spikes that I had before a little. Don't overdo because we can correct them a bit better later. So when you smooth things, you kind of make them smaller. So I don't want to exaggerate, I make just a little less, like this is fine. That's because I can also use other tools to scale down things. So I can clear selection, go to sculpt mode, and use some shrink smooth brush, make the size a bit smaller, and I can make a correction with some refine a little with the same intensity of reduce, so we'll keep almost everything together and a bit of a smoothing. And I also prefer to show wireframe to see what's happening. So I go here and just smooth that part out. So this depends on how you want to correct the shape. Okay, I think we are pretty done. We can go to edit. No, still. Save again, every operation. Still mask 2, yes. And there is a good tool to kind of reset all the mesh. We lose the texture at the end of the operation. It's useful to get a nice uniform mesh to work with. So I can decide the mesh size, update. Okay, something like that I think will work good. Maybe just a bit more of resolution to get more detail in the edge. Okay, that's fine. Accept. As you see, we have lost the resolution, the mesh, the texture on top of it, but it's fine. And right now we can make pattern because I want this thing to breathe a bit more. We are in edit, make pattern. And there are a lot of them. I don't show all of them right now. We will go more in deep in the lesson. I can turn them 90 degrees this way. I want them to be like a bit more perpendicular to this surface. Okay, something like that. And I want to make really tiny hole just for this part to be a bit more breathable. So I can make 2 millimeters grid with 4 millimeter spacing, so I will still have 2 millimeters in between the part to be easier to print. Maybe we make a bit less here, 1.7 as the whole, and just a bit less, 3 maybe here, something like that should be fine. And there is a subtract algorithm and some smoothing after this, so we can update and see what happens. We actually don't see this too much right now, so I accept, and right now we can see this. The other file is still here, so I can still use the other file, but my new file is this one. So in this case I prefer to show everything I need. So this is useful, and I still want my face in this file, so not this, but this part. and I delete everything I don't need. This is because Meshmixer can be really hungry on RAM, so if we keep this tree a bit clean, it's better. So I save again. Right now we can edit this thing a little more, so I just select this, hide the other part, and I want to smooth this a bit better. So select Command A, edit remesh, and I want to increase the resolution a bit more, like 50%, maybe more, because it's easier than to smooth out things. Accept, deform, smooth, we can smooth this out a little more, accept, and clear selection. Then we can join, we need to actually remove the inside, the part that is going inside. I will show this better in the lesson. And right now we can select this piece and this body and see if we manage to join them together. So we can, I need to actually select just things that are visible. So this piece. And this piece. So when I select two files together, I can see Boolean union here, and I just click and hope everything goes fine. Seems to work, and accept. Okay, so I save the file again and show you the final result I'm getting with this kind of operation. So I open the file I've already prepared before. Okay, and this is what I'm trying to get. Okay, so an object model directly on my face with all the feature I need to construct like a mask over this. So this will be the rigid part, then over this I can put tissue and some fabric, and get a mask that has a proper fitting to my face and a bit more space to breathe. Okay, that's it. This was the Inside Design and 3D Technology for Healthcare online summer courses, and see you soon on the full tutorial. Bye!